So my name is Deb Damani, and we did Etel Adnan. So this is a picture of her. So who is Adel Adnan? So she's a Lebanese American poet, essayist, and visual artist. She was born in Lebanon, and her mother was a Greek Christian, and her father was a Syrian Muslim. She grew up mostly speaking Greek and Arabic, but eventually French became her primary language. She studied philosophy at the Sorbonne in Paris, as well as at the University of California, Berkeley, as well as Harvard University. As for her personal life, Etel is currently 92 years old and lives in California. She came out as a lesbian in her later life, and her life partner currently is Simone Fadel, another artist and writer. Fun fact, Simone Fadel also translated one of Etel Adnan's most famous works, St. Mary Rose. A lot of Etel Adnan's works were heavily influenced by the wars during her lifetime. In connection with the Algerian War of Independence, she began to resist the political implications of writing in French. To address this conflict, she decided to shift her focus of creative expression to visual art and began to make abstract oil paintings. In response to the Vietnam War, Adnan began to write poems again, instead, this time in English rather than French. Etel became very involved in artwork and actually shifted from literature to art, and she became very, very obsessed and appreciative of it. And a quote that I would like to read that really defines her view and outlook on art goes as follows. Every art is a window that only art can access. You can't define these worlds. They are epiphanies, visions. So this really shows her appreciation and adornment for art. This is some of her artwork. In an interview, she talked about how much she loves simple colors, and a lot of times what she would do actually is she would start out with one color. She would paint one whole color on a canvas and then continue to paint colors over that one color. And she also talked about how she loved the color red a lot. This is visual poetry that she created. It's like a poem and artwork combined. So this is actually a story. It's not just artwork. It kind of looks like a book when it's unfolded almost. But yeah. As for influences and inspirations, Adel Adnan was influenced by Arthur Rimbaud, who was a surreal French poet, and Lin Haijin, an American poet, and Jalal Toufi, a Lebanese artist and writer. Adnan's poetry incorporates surrealist imagery and powerful metaphorical leaps with language-based and formal experimentation. She uses unexpected and experimental techniques to address the nature of exile and political, social, and gender-based injustices. As for accomplishments, Adel Adnan has won a lot of awards, especially for her novels and books. For example, she was awarded the France Pays Arabes Award for her novel Sit Mary Rose, awarded the Arab American Book Award for Master of the Eclipse, and her poetry collection on Sea and Fog won California Book Award for poetry. She's a RAWI Lifetime Achievement Award from the. She has the ARAWI Lifetime Achievement Award from the Radius of Arab American Writers and has been the president of RAWI, Radius of Arab American Writers Incorporated. Many people have been influenced by Adel Adnan's work, and so much to turn her work actually into music. For example, her poetry has been put into music by contemporary musicians like Henry Threadgill, who turned 5 sections of the Arab Apocalypse into music. The opera Ura also contains 5 sections of the Arab Apocalypse. Adnan also wrote for the theater. Crime of Honor was published in a French translation by L'Arc, editors in Paris, 2011. Some overview of her most renowned work, Sea and Fog. So these interrelated meditations explore the nature of the individual spirit and the individual spiritedness of the natural world. Adel Adnan weaves multiple theoretical and syntactic pleasures at once. In the Arab Apocalypse, it's a masterwork of the dislocations and radiant outcries of the Arab world. In the Arab Apocalypse, Adnan uses imagery, structure, and language to launch a critique of colonial violence and the devastations of war. In Of Cities and Women, from Barcelona to Skopelos, these letters trace the author's travels and reflections as each city becomes a kind of hand mirror to the psyche and a locus of new understanding. Adnan reads the figures of landscape, nation, art, and street as easily as words on a page, continually drawing startling connections between these elements. Reflecting a poetic process of decoding, she arrives at deeply original insights on the nature of feminism, politics, as well as loss through concise description and observation.